everybody. Thank you so much for joining. My name is Mustafa. Happy Tuesday to everybody. So I think today we will be talking about AI-based programming from prompt to app, mastering AI-powered development. My name is Mustafa. I'm the CEO of Roll Cyber, and I have with me Shariar. Shariar is a certified Cursor AI development expert. So he will be walking you through app, uh, live application. So here is the high level agenda which we will be covering today. So we will be talking about uh, why AI coding tools and what developers get wrong when using AI tools. And then I think our entire focus will be on this demo application, which we will develop using requirements to development to go live, and then we will be walking you through the code, right, which is generated by the AI, and then so that you can see the code and how it works, and then we will also try it out. And then at the end, we will share you this workshop lab uh, uh, document so that you can also try this particular application at your home. And if you have any problems walking through the lab, then you can always reach out to us to support. So we will also provide you the support email which you can reach out if you have any questions. So I think before we start, just a quick overview about us. So Royal Cyber is a company based in Chicago. We have been in business for about 20 plus years, about 2,000 plus employees, 10 different locations. We are the winner of the best place to work in Chicago for the past 5 years. We are Microsoft Partner of the Year for 2025 nominee, uh, and then other partners also. So I think before we start to the AI assisted coding, let's go through the problems which everybody faces, right? So if you see a developer life, right? So there is endless debugging, there is complex syntax. So people have to know the Java coding or the .NET coding syntax or the Python's syntax, right? And then, I mean, there are different frameworks like Spring Boot and others. So, I mean, they need to know that to do what problem they are trying to solve, right? Which basically in turn slows the development cycle. So weeks of coding, testing, refactoring before before the business sees any meaningful results, right? So I think we have seen all of these issues. So we will now, so the traditional coding everybody knows, memorize syntax rules, debug line by line, week to build features, technical barriers everywhere. And then AI assisted coding, you basically describe your vision, AI handles implementation, but you have to, the human has to verify the code, I think, which we will be showing you, right? If you don't understand coding, so it is not replacing the developer, it is basically assisting the developer. And I mean, you will exactly see it. You cannot just randomly go and just do the prompt, right? If you don't understand the front end coding, either you use Next.js, Angular, or React, or on the back end side, if you are creating APIs using Java, or you are using um, .NET, right? Anything, if you don't understand, then you cannot use this. So, but if you know those tools and if you use AI assisted coding, you will see that it will really uh, make you superpower. So here is an application which I was trying like last week. So I'm not a very hardcore developer, but I like to code. I would like, rate myself in Java like low to medium. So I mean, understand the flow. I know the basic coding, and I get help through ChatGPT if I forget a syntax and I go back and then do go back and forth. I think a lot of you might be doing something similar. Um, So I'm creating an application out here, create a warm community focused restaurant discovery app. Users should feel like they are getting recommendations from a local foodie friend, prioritize family-owned restaurant, and include stories about the owner. After spending a couple of hours and day, like 1 or 2 days, creating the authentication, the database side, the backend services, the front end services, I created a very nice application. And I think now after you will go through the workshop, you will be able to do this also yourself. And while I am going through this presentation, if you have any questions, please feel free to keep on typing in the app on the chat, and we will be responding to that also. And then at the end, we will also have one Q&A session. So now everybody knows about AI coding assessment in the personal capacity, or like if they are doing their side project, or if they're doing their startup gap. But what about AI coding in the enterprise, where there is security, there is all these legacy applications which we have to deal with, right? Like Oracle, SAP. Like AI, I think we have seen AI coding help in the internal tools development, rapid prototyping for business users, workflow automation. They are very complex workflows, so it has really helped in automating those, reducing IT backlogs. It has integration with your existing systems, and then enabling citizens developers that people like me who are developers but who are not like expert in like all the different frameworks. And so these tools have really empowered me to create something. I mean, I know, I mean, exactly what I want, but because I'm not a Java certified expert or a Spring Boot certified expert, I mean don't know those syntax. So previously I couldn't go faster, but now with these tools I can go much faster. So I've worked in my past life like a lot in IBM, WebSphere, and Oracle servers and SQL servers and database. And in the traditional enterprise development, we had architecture design, requirement gathering, infrastructure setup, and all of this is still needed in the AI power development, but all can be automated. Like I can use the Jira AI feature to create user stories, which would take days or weeks. Now I can do it much faster. I can create the whole infrastructure setup instead of creating the whole Terraform script myself. I can now use the AI assist to like create the whole environment on either Azure AI Foundry or Azure much faster. And then we had a separate, in my previous life, I mean, we had a separate QA team. I mean, they will write all the test cases from the Jira user stories. And I think that will take days or weeks. And then whenever there are user story changes, then they have to go and I mean, update that. So all that I will show you can be automated now. And then there were deployment complexities. We had a QA server, UAT server, development server, production server, and then many more. Typical, if you are from that, you might have seen that typically 6 to 12 months from concept to deployment. Now, if you use tools like Cursor and others, and like all the other Jira, like AI assisted tool, the business need it can help you with your full stack solutions and hours to working prototype. You can integrate with your existing system. Project duration can be reduced a lot. And then we are also doing another event after 2 weeks, where you will see that how with GoTest Pro, which is our AI powered testing tool, it will automatically write all the test cases for your application and after it writes test cases, it will also automatically basically execute it. So that whole testing life cycle, which takes weeks and months, can be automated now. So there was a Gardner study. So they found out that the impact is undeniable, right? So 5 time faster time to market, 80% reduced cognitive load. Developer focus on creative problem solving rather than syntax debugging. So and then uh, people like me, there are new creators enabled with these tools. Here are some of the enterprise success stories, which we have helped them succeed with these AI tools and our workshops. Financial services firm institution leverage AI coding to reduce development time by 70%. We were working with a healthcare organization to automate patient data workflows, including intake forms and record updates. This led to a 25% increase in administrative efficiency. And we created for a large retail chain adopted AI assisted coding to build a sophisticated inventory management system in days instead of months. And a manufacturing firm implemented AI coding to develop predictive maintenance dashboard, which would have taken them so almost about 30% faster. So what now shifting to what is available out there, right? So there are many tools available. There, I think a lot of you might be already familiar with these: Cursor, Windsurf, Bolt, Replit, AI. All have different strength, and they target different personas, uh, and uh, and they provide speed in all different areas. So right now, in today's event, we will be talking about Cursor. So Cursor is mainly for professional software developers and individual programmers, and it helps them improve efficiency of existing coding workflows. If you are just wanted to create, if you are just prototypes, you might use Replit. It facilitates quick iteration and collaboration in a web environment. If you are so I think I will share you this slide. So based on what's your need is, you can see. But I think today's we will be creating a full stack app, so we will be talking about Cursor. Okay, so now I will pass to Shariar. And Shariar, if you can share your screen. Now, Shariar will walk you through an end-to-end flow and application. So Shariar, yeah, if you can please share your screen and walk us through.
Yeah. So is my screen visible? Is my screen visible?
Yes, it
Yes.
is. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Hi everyone. So before jumping to the demo and development part, I would like to give an overview to the Cursor application itself. So Cursor is basically an AI-powered development tool. And once you visit this website, you can sign up or sign in as per the requirements and download that application to your local machine and start developing. So I have this Cursor application, which I would like to give some overview about. So this is the basic view of Cursor IDE. It is basically replicated from VS Code, all right? And Cursor got its boom when we got the model Claude 4 and Claude 3, because this is where the coding, AI coding got boomed. And so if I go to the settings, we will go one by one. That in the general, as you can see, you have your account section where you will be signing in and enabling the cursor for development purposes. I think for initially when you try this, they provide you free trial, but they have the membership plans also. So you can configure the cursor as well. So this is the chat and other properties of cursor. The main thing of cursor is that these models, right? So currently I have following models: Claude 4.1, Claude 4, GPT-5, and according to the plan, you will have multiple models enabled in your cursor IDE. And also, one interesting thing is that you can customize or integrate your custom model as well, providing it the API keys and all to utilize it for the development purposes. We have MCPs here, Model Context Protocol. These are the hot topics recently in today's tech industries. So MCP basically is a way of communicating LLM with your client application. So as you can see, GitHub has its MCP. These are the tools which we can use to initialize repositories and updating certain file and committing all the things. And also, and one interesting part is that how cursor gets the context of your application. Once you open your application in Cursor ID, for example, a repository of React.js or Next.js, it 100%ly indexes your code base, embed it, and then use it as a context. An additional thing is that you can also attach personal documents as well. For example, a brief document about your project which you want to develop and want to have cursor knowledge about that. You can add that document here as well for the reference purposes. Now let's move towards a demo where we will be developing an event management application. It is a simple, basic full-stack application uh, integrated with Supabase as our database and authentication system. And if I provide you an overview of the Supabase as well, so Supabase is basically a post-grade database which is used for database and authentication systems. For today's project, what we will be utilizing from Supabase is their database and authentication systems, right? So I have prepared a prompt to provide to Cursor, like provide me a plan for building a web application named Event Management, which will have following features in it, like dashboard listing of events, create, update event, authentication and database system with Superbase, and a modern, beautiful UI, which I would like to use Next.js. So basically, the requirements which you provide to Cursor are very important. You need to be specific because they are LLMs. They need to have the context very clear, and also you can add a question statement that if you are unable to understand any requirement, you can ask a question to clarify about those things. Alright. Now, if we move forward to providing this prompt to Cursor, once I provide this prompt, it has generated me a plan. Before jumping to the development, I asked it to provide me a plan. So here is the exact plan for this development purposes, that I will create a comprehensive plan. As you can see, event management web application development plan. The project overview is building a modern event management web application, and the technical stacks which Cursor will be using for front-end Next.js, back-end Superbase, database plus authentication, and different UI libraries for making our application beautiful and aesthetic. And it has provided us a rough estimates for the plan. If I was to implement this manually, so it would have taken me a couple of weeks. For example, I am a senior software engineer, and if I go to manual without assistance of AI, it would have taken me much time to implement than what we are about to do. Okay, so this is the plan which Cursor provided us. And this after this thing, I asked Cursor to implement. Cursor asked me, would you like me to start implementing any specific phase, or would you like me to modify any part of this plan? All right. So I asked Cursor that. So Cursor implemented first. What Cursor did is set up the application. Let me start by setting up the Next.js project with all the necessary dependencies for a modern UI. All right. So this is the project setup and then the dependencies which talked about. And this is the code which Cursor developed. Now let me walk you through that. As you can see, as I am a developer, a professional developer working in this industry, so I know what structure is a standard structure of a code and what file structure we should use for development of a project of this sort. So Cursor has followed the standard format. As you can see, the Cursor has described and initialized the first UI components which we will be using throughout our application. For example, this is the one alert, which is used for alerting user of any successful or errorful notification. Okay, and if we come back to the pages, this is the main layout of the application, the root layout. As you can see, if you are aware about the Next.js implementation, you should know that we need to have a root layout set up in our application. And what Cursor has did is theme provider and auth provider. Now, if you are not aware about auth provider, the auth provider is used to restrict unauthenticated users from accessing the application. All right. So this is the UI part of our application which Cursor developed. Now, if I go to the application, so this whole UI was developed by Cursor by giving it one prompt. So as you can see, it is very beautiful to the eye, and it has also integrated the dark theme as well for the aesthetics purposes. And you can see the analytics as well. You can now create an event and dashboard part. So this would have taken me a couple of days or maybe week to develop, but with assistance of AI, we are capable of now developing at fast pace. Perfect. So the UI of our application has been developed by Cursor. Now what we will ask Cursor to do is to integrate the authentication system so that a user can log in and log out of the application and create certain events. All right. Now if I go to this section, okay. So I asked Cursor to, I would like you to develop the UI of our application first. I'm providing you this context because uh, this is easy. If you just need to provide the prompt in plain English and the Cursor will understand, but you will need to be very clear about the specification which you want to do. So this was the UI part, and then we asked Cursor to implement the database and authentication. As you can see, the UI looks good. Now I would like you to set up the superbase for authentication and database. Now, while creating the project and setting up all the files, Cursor may run into some errors, but you do not need to worry about that. Cursor will handle those. You just need to provide those errors to Cursor. So once I provide this prompt to Cursor, Cursor then will implement this backend functionalities. Now, if I want to jump to the code, I can show you that what that prompt Cursor developed. So as you can see, for the database, we need to have supervised systems like the auth mechanism and login and register. So if you go to this register page, so this is the authentication. This function register page, what it does, it gets the details from user at this function. It gets the details from user from form, and if password and confirm passwords are not correct, it will throw an error that password do not match. And password length for now we have kept for maximum 6 characters. Password must be at least 6 characters. And once these all checks have been passed from the coding from the user, then what the code has been written by Cursor is to sign up that user. That user will be signed up to our database and is stored in our database. So, and then any error occurs, if any error occurs while creating that user, we will see a notification that the creation of the user failed. Otherwise, if it is successful, we will be notified that the email or the account has been created, and we will be redirected to the login page. Now, for that authentication mechanism, what I would like to show you is this UI. So this is the authentication. Now we can go to the sign up page. Here is a sign up page. I can provide a random email. For example, for now, I have not set up any email verifications. So we can provide any type of email for now for the demo purpose. Let me provide 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 characters for the password. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and let's create this account. So account created, please check your email for that. So account was created and I was also logged into this email, to this application automatically without asking to be logged in again. So as you can see, I had the email test12@gmail.com and the share running as my full name, and these are the event page and all. These were the previous one which I published to this application. But what we will do is, we saw that the authentication has been implemented successfully. Now we will see that if the database connectivity of creating an event and persisting that event is successfully implemented by Cursor. So if I go to the code, that creation of the, one more thing which I need to tell you is that for Superbase, you will need to have some keys configuration set up. And if you are not aware about Superbase or anything, you do not need to worry about that. The cursor will provide you a step-by-step guide of setting up a project in Superbase, and what configurations or what credentials you will need to have in your application to run the application. All right. So this is the guide that get your project credentials. Go to this setup, create a .env, and we will be good to go. Right now, event creation, what Cursor did and what I, as a programmer or developer, see that if Cursor did what it was supposed to do, and was it correct. Okay, so this page is of create event page, and this is the submit function which it wrote. So as we have implemented the authentication mechanism, so any user who is not authenticated will not be creating this event. And if somehow it is bypassing something and going to create an event without the user, you will see a notification that you must be logged in to create an event. All right. We are getting the date and time event data from the form data, which we will be filling in a moment. And then this service will be called by our application to create this event in our Superbase. All right, let's jump to that part. For example, I give a title like prompt to a webinar and workshop, and I provide a description. This is the test demo event creation. And if I select for example workshop, and I say date and time is this, and this is a random time, I say we are in New York, and I can, for demo purpose, we have not implemented any payment, and I am setting the price as 0. The maximum attendees will be 50. So once I publish this event, the event will be created in the Superbase. Go to the events page, do the application. Yes, prompt to app webinar, prompt to app webinar demo. So the event creation is successful, but it is having some troubles which we can then also troubleshoot with cursor and see if we have any issues with that. We can also upload images of the events as well. So what was the purpose of today is that we saw that the cursor described, if we described the intent and the cursor did all that things. If I go to Superbase, this is my project. This is a project overview, and this is the database. Also, the schemas which you are seeing here, these are all what Cursor provided me to develop, right? So these I developed by Cursor, and this is the database which these are the events which we had. As you can see, these are the four events, and the profiles are also being updated. As you can see, test12@gmail.com, taste@gmail.com, and all that. I have shared with you the application URL as well, which you can try out yourself as well. And this is really outstanding to use cursor in your development lifecycle, because what it provides us is a capability to reduce the efforts or time in the development of a large scale application. I'm sure many of you work on a large scale applications which requires much than AI to develop and human in loop. So Cursor is your junior developer. What you will do is do debugging using AI, writing test cases using AI, and it will really help you develop in the development process, and it will make your life easy. I believe me, because I have been using this tool here a lot, and it is very much promising to use. Yes,
Okay.
thank you. Yes.
Um, Madhu, can you make me a presenter? Yeah. Okay. So I think going back, like, to the other one. So finally, I mean, like, so we went through the application, and I mean, like, he showed it to you how. So if you want to try out this particular app, I mean, like, please scan this barcode. So I mean, you can also try this out. And then if you want to download this lab guide to do this particular lab yourself, please also scan this code. And if you have any questions about this application, or about any question while you are going through the lab, please reach out to either me or Shariar, and we will be able to help you out in any way. So I will just leave this for like few seconds so that you get a chance to scan this QR code. Okay, and I think we will also share this slide with you. So if you have any questions, you can also you will have this link also later. Okay, and then I think a lot of the enterprises, like, we want to move from IBM web server portal because of the heavy licensing fee. So I mean, like, they want to modernize their legacy application, bring them to the cloud like Azure, AWS, or GCP. But there is work needs to be done to do that migration, right? Take all the dependencies out of the proprietary APIs, and then make it so. We provide a workshop, a cursor workshop, where we help your team train on cursor. We are a cursor certified experts and we can also help you with modernizing a legacy application or build new AI powered application. So if you are interested in this workshop, please send out an email to info@rollcyber.com, and we will be able to help you out. So it will be a hands-on guidance, best practices, and personal recommendation, which we have learned over the years. I think that's about it. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining this event. If you have any questions, we will now have the Q&A open now. So currently in our company, we are using all of our 2000 engineers, like, they are all getting using cursor almost about 40 to 50% every day. Some of them are also cursor certified, um, and they are learning new things every day. And I mean, they have really seen productivity improvement, and so and would love to share you that with you.
That's a wonderful presentation, team. And we have many questions coming in. Um, Let's go with one by one. Can I specify the language to be used, the architecture to follow with cursor?
Yeah. So I think Cursor has a page. I mean, Shader, if you can quickly show that. So it has different Java, like it has different roles, like Java developer, Python developer. So you can go to that page, you can basically copy that particular prompt, and then you can paste it on Cursor, right? So that way Cursor will know that I am now an expert Java developer. So whatever prompt you will give it to him. So I think so the site name is, what is the site name again? If you can read out, or you can cut and paste that URL. I think you're on mute, Shreya.
Yes, sorry about that. Yeah, it is cursor directory.
Cursor directory. So if you just type on Google cursor directory, you will go to that page. I mean, that page will have all the different, and you can just pick out, if you are Microsoft .NET shop, you basically take that prompt, you go to cursor, you put it under the rules folder, and then whatever prompt now you will give it to him, it will be understanding like a expert Microsoft .NET developer. Next one, please.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on combining tools, for example, Laravel.dev or Bolt.new, to create the beautiful and styled front-end code and get the front end looking exactly as you want, sharing with
Yeah,
stakeholders and other publishing companies?
I think that's a very good feedback. So I think that's what we do right now. So with the cursor, you cannot get that pixel perfect UI which you need. So Figma, I mean, you can use either Figma, you can use Lovable, you can use Bold. So with Figma, you can get that pixel perfect UI, and then there is an MCP server available inside Cursor for Figma. So once you develop the UI inside Figma, then you can go to Cursor. I mean, you don't have to now import and export and all sorts of things. You can just go to Cursor, that use this UI which I have created in Figma, and then create the UI components using Angular or React, right? So it will automatically do it for you. So that is awesome. Yeah. If you need some more information on that, or I mean, I have a very good YouTube video and I can share with you.
Hope that answers. And another question is like, um, how do you see this trend, rapid prototyping, impacting the traditional roles of product managers, developers, and analysts?
So, like I mean, Sharia showed you, right? It is not replacing them. It is basically enhancing them. So,
Yes.
I mean, because whatever code cursor is generated, Sharia is going and then reviewing that code, right? So, if you don't know TypeScript or if you don't know Next.js Java front end framework, then how will you review the code? And you cannot 100% rely on that. So,
Here is another interesting one. If I'm already using GitHub Copilot, why should I use Cursor or other tools?
yes. So I think, like I said, I mean, like, there are many tools available. I haven't used GitHub Copilot. Shara, have you used recently GitHub Copilot? Yeah.
Yeah, so GitHub Copilot, I have used that and I switched back to Cursor because of the features Cursor is providing right now. So GitHub Copilot does not edit multiple files at a time. It does not have that capability. But Cursor is much more powerful. Like AI agents are not yet in GitHub Copilot. So it is basically on the scope of the project you are working on, like what type of tool you need for that project.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. The next one is on how do you ensure AI-generated code is safe and secure for production?
Yeah, so I think that's a very good question. So we use third-party libraries, which basically we have a whole DevSecOps pipeline. So after we commit the code in the GitHub, it basically scans the entire code, and if there is any vulnerabilities, we basically, so you cannot go to the next level until you take care of those vulnerabilities. So we will be happy to share you that pipeline if you can just message us.
Um, Explain the difference between code extensions like Cline or Kilo code, etc., versus Cursor.
Share if you
Uh,
can.
Code extensions, the extensions used inside the development tool. So basically, difference between those are that they are limited. If you are talking about development, they are limited against the tool which we are using, like Cursor.
Okay. Can AI really handle end-to-end workflows, or do you still need a lot of manual intervention?
Yeah,
I
Yeah.
mean, yeah. Okay.
yeah, Miss.
No, I think, like, we if you start, I mean, like, it will generate a lot of errors, but then if you cut and paste those errors against in Cursor, and sometimes it will fix it, sometimes it will not be able to fix it, but because you are a developer, you will be able to understand what's going on. So uh, it, I mean, it requires a human in the loop, but you will definitely get the productivity.
Yes, so basically the idea behind using these tools are to avoid the manual writing of coding. But once AI is generating the code, you are capable of accepting, reviewing, and reviewing that code if the AI generated code is correct or not. For that, you need to have some experience regarding that language which you are working on.
Okay. Here's one more we can take. Have you used GenAI to create customizations to legacy WebSphere Java code with success? I know things nowadays are modern frameworks, but some of the older legacy code is very dense.
Yeah, so I think there we tried recently one. So if you IBM has a product called IBM Website Portal, and they have a web experience factory, which I think a lot of like a lot of enterprise Fortune 500 companies, they have that, and they have built their code on web for many years, right? So they have hundreds of applications on it. Now that is, if you see that framework is all, so they have the front end, the back end, and the database all very tightly integrated. So you can use like tools like Cursor, import the legacy code in it, and if you and I mean if you go through a certain process, we have seen that it has successfully transformed the IBM Web Experience Factory code to a modern cloud native application very successfully.
We're receiving many questions. I think due to time constraint, right? We'll take this one as the last. What are your opinions on the CSS or styling libraries GenAI use? Uh, the user is saying, I have had several developers that, for example, don't like Tailwind.
Okay, so can you repeat the question? Like use of
Yes.
AI
Okay.
in CSS.
Yeah. Uh,
Okay,
what are
so
your opinions on the CSS or styling libraries GenAI use?
okay. So basically, some, if you provide the information what library for CSS or UI styling you want to use, you need to provide that to AI tool you are using, for example, Cursor or Windsurf. But if you want to avoid tailwind, you can use MUI, Material UI, Int Design, Shadescn, multiple libraries which are very capable. And also, it depends on the project you are doing. If it is very big project or will scale, you should go with the libraries like MUI, InDesign instead of Tailwind, because Tailwind complexes the code inside. Tailwind is good for the modern, simple, and basic applications.
Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. So I think we will be sharing the slides, and then if you have any other questions, please reach out to Happy with the workshop. If you have any questions during the workshop, also please reach out to us. And if you like to do an on-site workshop for your company, please also reach out to us. Have a great Tuesday and have a great rest of the week. Appreciate it. Have a nice day. Bye bye.
Thank you, everyone.